Ely Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Wednesday morning. We've got a match tonight against Arsenal. I will be talking a little bit about that in this video, as well as talking about Luke Shaw, Lenny Yoro, Harry Maguire, some other big topics. But before we get into all of that, make sure you smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 500 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Bottom right hand corner, go and do that right now. It doesn't cost you any money, completely free. Right, before we get into all of the news, I have a question that I want to ask you. And the question is this. I want your score predictions. Obviously, Manchester United play Arsenal tonight. I think it's an 8:15 p.m. kickoff. Obviously away at Arsenal at the, I nearly said the Etihad, it's at the Emirates. Massive game for Manchester United. It's obviously Ruben Amorim's biggest test since joining as the new manager. And I want you to let me know, what is your score prediction in the comment section below. Now, for me personally, I think it's going to be a very difficult game, as we know. Obviously, Kobe Mainoo suspended, Martinez suspended. Now we find out Luke Shaw is injured. So we've got a bit of a crisis at the centre-back position again. Obviously, De Ligt is available, Mazraoui's available, and it will most likely be Harry Maguire. So the back three will probably be Maguire, De Ligt and Mazraoui. Maybe Lenny Yoro plays, maybe he doesn't. He's definitely travelled with the squad, which is really positive. But whether or not he'll start, it still remains to be seen. But there is an expectation that he will get some minutes tonight, which will obviously be his debut proper game for Manchester United. Obviously, he played in a friendly, but it doesn't really count, does it? So yeah, this will be his first competitive game for Manchester United, which is exciting. Score prediction-wise, I mean, if we were to come out of there with a win, it would be absolutely sensational, wouldn't it? I can't see it happening, to be honest. I think a draw would be a good result for Man United. Arsenal are on fire at the moment. They're doing really well, as they have been. You know, they've had the same manager for 7 years. They've been building this project for, literally 7 years. So they're at a completely different stage in their development versus where we are. But you never know in football, do you? Maybe we go out and we do get a result. Like, anything is possible. But being realistic, I am expecting us to lose tonight, and I think that would be fine. It just depends on how we lose. That's kind of more of the consideration for tonight's game. So I'd like for it to be competitive at least, and if we lost, then fine. If we go and lose 5 or 6-0, again, I wouldn't be surprised, because just because the last couple of games have been a bit better, it's going to take a long time to get us to a point where we're competitive against these top teams. And if Ruben Amorim does it tonight, then fair play to him. But I would be honestly stunned if he was able to do that, because remember, he hasn't even really been able to do any training sessions, because we're playing a game at the moment every 2 or 3 days. I was reading about this yesterday. So if the player's set to play, say you have a game on a Saturday, right? Whoever's going to be picked for that game on the Saturday can't then train on the Friday, right? They need to have a whole day before it as rest. And then after the game, they have to have a whole 2 days rest afterwards. They can do they could go in the gym, but they can't do like full on training, i.e. on the training field. So if you think about it in the case of Sunday's game, right? There would have been no training on Saturday. The last game before that would have been on the Thursday. There'd have been no training on the Friday. So we'd have played in the Europa League. There'll be no training Friday, Saturday, play on the Sunday. Whoever played on the Sunday wouldn't then train on Monday or Tuesday, and then you play again on the Wednesday. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's really difficult for him to implement his tactics and his ideas when you're not able to train. And he's even said himself that he's pretty much only, implementing his ideas in the matches. The matches are our training sessions at the moment, which is pretty crazy. But, he's learning on the job. The players are working out the system on the job. So it's going to be an incredibly difficult game. Obviously, Arsenal are a very well-drilled side. They're doing well, second in the Premier League. Obviously, they're not as good as they were last season. They're still 9 points off Liverpool. But, they are still a very good side with good players. And it's going to be difficult away from home. 8:15 kickoff. We know before that these set of players used to crumble under pressure away from home in these types of games. So it'll be interesting to see if that changes tonight. Maybe their heads stay up. Maybe we don't crumble. Maybe we go and get a result. But so I'm really looking forward to this game. Obviously, I think, the result of this game isn't going to make or break our season. I think it will just help us readjust our expectations. Like, if we win this game tonight, there'll be people saying we should 100% got top 4. Like, people will be getting very excited, right? If we lose this game, I think there's no need to panic. It's just, it's reasonable. You're playing against a team who are way further ahead in the development than us. We were 13th in the Premier League a couple of weeks ago, and they're second. So what do you really expect? So you have to just kind of look at it like that. And I know that's probably not what some people want to hear, but score prediction-wise, I'm going to be optimistic, okay? I'm going to say I think we're going to get a draw here. I think, a win is unlikely, but it could happen. I think a draw is realistic. So I'm going to go 2-2, Manchester United draw. And I'd be happy with that. I think a draw would be a good result. It's a bad result for Arsenal. It would then mean they'd be like 10 points, 11 points behind Liverpool if Liverpool win their game in hand, which is obviously tonight against Newcastle, I believe. Or they're away to Newcastle, Liverpool. So, yeah, Arsenal need to win tonight, and they'll be hoping, obviously, that Liverpool slip up and then they can, catch up on them a bit. But, if Arsenal don't get the full 3 points tonight and Liverpool do get the 3 points, then it's going to be, I think, 11 points between Arsenal and Liverpool, first and second, which is crazy. But, let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Let's move on from that, though, and let's talk about Luke Shaw then. So I don't know if anybody's seen this, but Luke Shaw is injured again. So he's been out for, a year, maybe? I don't think he's played 90 minutes of football for... I honestly can't remember the last time he played 90 minutes of football. Like, years, I would say, maybe even. A whole game where he's been fully fit. So Luke Shaw comes back. The mood jumps up again. Everyone's like, oh, he's the new left-sided centre-back. This is great. And last night, Luke Shaw's put out a statement on his Instagram saying that apparently he's injured again. I honestly, when this story came out, I wasn't surprised, but I don't know. I don't know what Manchester United do here, to be honest. Like, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess, isn't it? When you look at his injury record over the last 10 years, being a Manchester United player, he's missed 54% of Manchester United's games for injury, so over 50%. Last season, he missed 36 games. Season before that, he missed 50 games. And the worst thing about this for me is this new injury he's got. It's not the same injury as before. It's a different injury. It's some sort of muscular injury. So it's not like he's had, repercussions from that surgery he had after the leg break. You would kind of understand that, wouldn't you? You'd say, he had, a leg break. They told him he might never play football again. And maybe it keeps coming back or something. Like, it would still be disappointing, but you would somewhat understand. But this is just different injuries every single time, and it's absolutely mad. It's crazy. But I'm not really going to blame Luke Shaw for this, to be honest, because the biggest blame or the biggest fault lies with the Glazers, who this time last year stupidly decided to give him a new contract. Right? Let's paint the picture. Luke Shaw has missed 50 games through injury in one season, and at the end of that season, the Glazers think, you know what? Let's give him a new contract on £200,000 a week at the age of 29. It doesn't make any logical sense to me whatsoever. And he's still now got 3 more years on his deal. His contract doesn't expire until 2027. So, it'll be 2 years in the summer, but still, 2 years is a very, very long time to be earning £200,000 a week. It's about, I looked earlier, it's roughly about 12 million a year in wages that we'll be paying him for about another 2.5 years. Like, that's mad, isn't it? What's that? Maybe £30 million worth of wages we owe him? There's some people saying just rip up the contract, get rid of him, but I don't think Man United are in a position to be able to pay someone off £30 million to get rid of them. So I think we will just end up keeping him. We will end up just continuing to try and, bring him back to full speed. Whether or not that will work, I don't know. I wish him all the best. Again, I'm not going to put the blame on Luke Shaw. It's not like he's purposely deciding to become injured. I'm going to put the blame on the Glazers. Of course it's the Glazers' fault. John Murtagh, Richard Arnold, all of those people who were involved in the idea of giving him a new deal. That to me is completely illogical. There's no reasonable thinking or rational thinking which gets you to the point where you say, let's give somebody who's just missed 50 games in one season a new contract. That doesn't make sense whatsoever. So, we can all pile the hate on Luke Shaw and whatever, if that's how you want to do it. But at the end of the day, imagine this, right? Imagine you'd been ill for a year and you didn't go into work, okay? And your contract was due at the end of that year. And you go back in and your work say, you know what? we're going to give you another 4-year contract. Of course you're going to sign it, you know? You know, he's got family, he's got mortgages to pay, he's got... I'm not trying to make out that he's, you know, this... I'm not trying to say feel sorry for him at all. I'm saying that, you know, if you were in his position and you'd been ill for a year and then your job offered you a new 4-year contract, of course you'd take it. You know, you'd be thinking, these people are stupid. I'm going to sign that piece of paper and run. So, yeah, I mean, it's annoying, but it's hardly surprising. And all it says to me is that in January we need to go and sign another centre-back or a left wing-back or someone to fill that position, because we can't rely on Luke Shaw anymore. So, yeah. But anyway, let's move on from that. I don't want to spend too much time bashing Luke Shaw, because I think it's kind of gone past the point now. We clearly need to get rid of him. Will we be able to get rid of him? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he should retire. Yeah, I mean, that's the next option, isn't it? Maybe he retires from football. But again, why would he retire from football if he can earn 200 grand a week for the next 3 years to do nothing? I wouldn't, you know. I'd just keep going in every day, keep having food made for me. You know, like, so yeah, that's that. But anyway, let's move on from that. Let's talk a little bit about Harry Maguire. So the story coming out this morning... The story coming out this morning from Samuel Luckhurst, Manchester Evening News, is that apparently Harry Maguire is expecting Manchester United to trigger his 1-year contract extension. And I know this is probably going to get some, you know, mixed reactions from the fan base. People like, why would we keep Maguire? But just to give you the full picture here. So in the summer, Johnny Evans is going to leave, his contract expires. Lindelof is going to leave, his contract expires. Okay, so those two are gone. Luke Shaw was our other centre-back. Let's be honest, we can't rely on him. He's gone, realistically. He won't leave the club, but he's not someone we can use. Harry Maguire's contract is also due to expire in the summer, but part of that contract, there is an option to extend for 1 further year. Now, this is up to Manchester United to decide whether they want to trigger it or not. So it'd be on the same wages, just a 1-year extension. I'm a little bit 50-50 on this one, because I think if you'd have asked me a week ago, I would have said we probably don't need to, because Luke Shaw is a centre-back now. Mazraoui is a centre-back now. But even if you look at our options now, right, in the centre-back position, you've got, from the summer onwards, we'll have Mazraoui, we'll have Martinez, we'll have Lenny Yoro, and we'll have De Ligt. We'll have 4 centre-backs. Luke Shaw, I wouldn't even include Luke Shaw on there. So you've got 4 centre-backs. And then Harry Maguire. I probably would keep him for 1 year, because it will effectively then mean that we only need to sign 1 centre-back in the summer. We sign 1 really, really top centre-back. Because, you know, if we have to buy 2 centre-backs, a left wing-back, a right wing-back, a striker, a midfielder, you know, the list is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. We need 6, 7, 8, 9 players, and that's not going to happen. So, you know, especially if people in the chat are like, oh, I want Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon. You know, that's what, like 100 million? How do you expect to get someone like Gyökeres, as well as 2 centre-backs, as well as a left wing-back, as a right wing-back? It's not going to happen. Our net spend last summer was about 100 million euros, you know? So I think we've got to be quite clever this year. Is Harry Maguire the future of Manchester United? No. But is giving him a 1-year extension a bad decision? I would say I'm 50-50 on it. I would understand if they did it, because I understand that money is now tight for Manchester United. Would it excite me? Not really. But yeah, I understand why they would have to do it, because they need to prioritise the funds for other areas, knowing that obviously Lindelof and Johnny Evans is definitely going to leave. So yeah, that's my take on that. Steven says the best thing we can do is sell Luke Shaw for a really small amount of money, like 2 million, just to offload his wages. Yeah, the thing is, though, would anybody even buy him, though? I don't think they would. Because if he leaves, he's going to want 200 grand a week, right? That's part 1. And 2, why would anybody buy him? I just can't see it. You know? Why would anybody buy an injury-prone player, even for £2 million? I just don't understand why they would. But, you know, maybe someone will. Maybe no one in the Premier League's going to buy him, that's for sure. Maybe someone in Saudi buys him. But even then, like, why would a Saudi club buy somebody? It's not like Luke Shaw is that much of a big player, really, is he? I know he's played for Man United, but, like, You know, he's not like a big brand, is he, Luke Shaw, really? He's relatively popular in England, kind of. But, you know, it's not like he's a Casemiro who's won 5 Champions Leagues, massive social media following, you know, would bring loads of new watchers to the Saudi League. Like, no one's going to be like, oh, I love Luke Shaw, I'm going to start watching the Saudi League. Whereas there will be people who, you know, follow Casemiro through his whole journey and will watch the Saudi League just because of Casemiro, you know, whereas they wouldn't with someone like Luke Shaw, I don't think, personally. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you know, maybe his brand is bigger than I think it is, but I just don't see it. You know, I've never really seen him as much of like a brand person, if that makes sense. But yeah, let me know what you think about all of that. But anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up here. I will be back live after the Arsenal game tonight. Let's hope for a win. Let's pray for a victory. It'll probably be about 10 o'clock this evening, UK time. So make sure you join me for that. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all on the next one. Bye for now.